Victreebel, the original Team Rocket meme. Known mainly for chomping on James, it is time we show Victreebel the respect it deserves. Once we Mega Evolve this Pokemon, its stats change dramatically. We have an exceptional 135 special attack, some decent bulk, I don't want to say it's great or anything, and an excellent 125 attack with its ability Triage, which increases the priority of HP restoring moves to +3. We can use moves such as Giga Drain and Leech Life to do some crazy priority damage. What we're going to try and do is set up the Sun, use Growth to get +2 in attack and special attack, and throw off these Giga Drains and Leech Lives. What's up everyone and welcome back. Today we are using Victreebel, Mega Victreebel, the first video we're doing with the new Megas, and I chose this one just because I've always enjoyed using Victreebel, but I never really got a chance to use it before the Mega Evolution because it's not the best grass and poison type out there. It does some good damage, it had some good strats, but I was really excited for the ability that they added on over here, and as you've seen from the intro, it's Triage. Fantastic ability, and let's just see how we use it today. Meowstic in this team is used for support. I was trying to find something, hey, maybe I could eventually use this Meowstic as a Mega Evolution and test it out, see what it's like. But as you can see, there are quite a few Mega Pokemon in my party right now that I'm trying to focus on the new Legends ZA Mega Evolutions. But I don't think I'll be doing, I'm not going to talk about what I might not and might be doing, but what I am doing right now is setting up Victreebel. The Sun is extremely helpful with this team because I want to start setting up growths, but this person, I'm sure that they figured out that they don't want to have a weather war, and I made the mistake of letting Meowstic go down too soon, realizing that they have the advantage on the weather now, especially with this because I can't see it right now, it's just not registering in my brain, Excadrill. And you might notice that Excadrill is incredibly good against my team, against pretty much everything. I do not have an Excadrill resist. The steel resist doesn't exist really. Oh, it does with the Blaziken, but then the ground over there steel resist with the Goldengo, but also the ground. So I'm really hurting over here, but let's look at what we do have going on, because right now I'm focusing on all the things that is not us. This Victreebel, I'm very glad that there's the sprite in here. Not all of them have that sprite. Is very unique in this situation where I know that if I could take out or get close to taking out this Latias, I have a very good chance of taking out the rest of their team, because Excadrill goes down to my Victreebel. We will out heal the damage that it will do to us. I guarantee you that. But this is where I thought maybe I could put up some Stealth Rocks. If they do go back into Excadrill, I know that they're not going to try and remove it right away, because they definitely don't want to take a hit, because Clefable could have anything. It could have Flamethrower and take it out like that. But we throw in our Victreebel knowing that it's going to be able to outspeed with Triage. But what they might not have understood, or at least tried to do, was set up the Sand right before the Tyranitar went down. But if it goes down to Stealth Rocks or Spikes or Hazard before, it will not activate its ability, which is fantastic for us because we are not getting whittled down by everything else. This Blaziken getting a critical hit over there with a close combat on the Surf Edge is pretty impressive. I'm very glad it ended up doing that, but it doesn't always work out that way. We did get lucky in that 1 in 10 chance to get that crit. And I just wanted to do as much damage as I can to this Latias, because I know it has Recover. It could have just spammed Recover or something, but at this point I was wondering if it was going to be Scarfed or something, but it was not Scarfed because we outsped it with +1. It would have outsped us if it was +1 with a Scarf and we were +1. A Victreebel comes in and it can take out that Leech Life. Priority damage, does fantastic work over there. The Giga Drain, fantastic work against the Excadrill. And now we're left with a really tough opposition, which is Volcanion. And I know we're always going to hit first, but I was expecting this Flamethrower to take us out. Volcanion has incredible special attack, but you have to respect the bulk of Victreebel over here. winning at the end. We deserved this win. It was fantastic. This was one of my favorite games I played with this Victreebel. And if you've reached this far in the episode, why not throw a like down there? YouTube enjoys it, and so do I. I really appreciate that. And let's just jump right into the next one, because we have a good game coming up over here. You can tell that there's a very thematic, I don't know if thematic's even the right word. There's a theme towards these battles that people, these teams that people get. They like the Greninjas, the Rotoms. They like the Charizard Ys, Baxcaliburs common, Zeraora not so much. You'll find Excadrill. You'll find a lot of Blaziken. Now, yeah, I'm using Blaziken because I needed something to come in and do some really strong damage. This Glimmora and I ended up having an interesting back and forth, because we both set up our rocks. I knock off its Rocky Helmet, which is fantastic, and Toxic Debris ends up coming out. I have an Overquill, fantastic work over here. But what they might not realize, or at this point I'm very glad that they did not, is I also had Mortal Spin. It tried to hit me with a Mortal Spin, but I had that too. And regardless of the Toxic Debris, this Mortal Spin will not get, it will take off all the hazards that's over there, so it will not get beat by the Toxic Debris coming out. So I thought I'd hit it with a big strong Throat Chop, and that did so much damage to Zeraora. I did not want to take an electric move, a Plasma Fist coming, because that would have been really bad for my team, but they end up going for the Aura Sphere. Very weird. Well, either way, it doesn't really matter. I can't imagine why they would switch unless they're scarfed or something. I throw a Shadow Ball, doesn't do great damage to Greninja. I was going to say Shedinja. But I also live a Dark Pulse. I was a little bit surprised that I lived the Dark Pulse over there, but that allowed me to do some great damage to the Greninja. And I know I'm going to get taken out right now. The best thing I could have done was just go down, or thinking it would go for the Dark Pulse, because why not would it go for the Dark Pulse? I switch into this Clefable, which I have a Toxic Orb on, because I'm trying to do a strategy. You know, if you see a Pokemon video with a Clefable, it's half Mega and half not Mega. This is the strat that I'm going to do. Look out for that. I just came up with it right on the spot. We ended up setting up the rocks because I know that they're not going to try and come in and immediately take it off. They could, but we have a workaround for this. I don't want the Clefable to go down, and it probably wants to try and take me out as best it can. But I just end up using my Overquill as that distraction, like I always try to do. Get a critical hit and the poison, obviously, with Mortal Spin. It also has another Rocky Helmet. This person really likes their Rocky Helmet, but I still cannot let this Overquill go down. I needed an outlet, and Meowstic was the most expendable one, especially because I want to try and set up the Sun. I want to try and get this Victreebel going with the Sun, and I was really hoping it would take me out that one hit, because I don't want to waste the Sun turns. This is a perfect opportunity for me to come into the Victreebel and finally use the move I've been waiting to use. Growth. After, of course, Mega Evolving. It lands a Will-O-Wisp, which, you know, it does do it in the end, but it's not the worst thing on my Victreebel that is purely special. A lot of Victreebels can be run physical, but that +2 Dark Pulse did not take me out. I'm so glad, because if it did, I would have flinched. I wouldn't have been +4. I'll still be +2. But now with the growth in the Sun, I can out-heal. I mean, I can double boost. You know, the intro explained all of that, I'm pretty sure, right? I didn't even record the intro yet. But this is an opportunity for me to really do some damage and start sweeping their team, or at least break a big enough hole in their team so that I can come in there and clean up with the rest. It went out to Zeraora thinking that it would be faster. I don't think this person knew my ability Triage, which allows healing moves to have priority. I don't know what kind of priority. I'll check that out. Charizard comes in. No heavy duty boots. We know it's always going to be a Mega Evolution, and it doesn't exactly go down to the Giga Drain. You know, it did its job. Usually these Charizards pack Weather Ball, and there's no way I was living that. But what we did is made a massive hole in their team. We took out half of their team with that Victreebel and allowed us to come inside and do some great damage. Now, I don't know why I had Goldengo right in there. But, you know, it is what it is. I ended up sacking him unintentionally. I should have done something else. But knowing that I'm going to outspeed after one speed boost, I let the Honed Claws rip, because Honed Claws and Blaze Kick do some incredible have a really incredible combination together. And I'm not gonna get outsped with anything. This backscalper is gonna go down to a close combat. There's absolutely no way it can take me out over here, especially because of the rocks and no sash, and we win the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really did.